Star Trek. Voyager did something even better than a mirror universe episode. When it comes to Star Trek lore, few concepts are as beloved and overused as the mirror universe. Originating in Star Trek, the original series' iconic mirror, the idea of a twisted alternate reality filled with evil versions of the crew has become a franchise staple. Fans came to expect black leather uniforms, sinister goatees, and a lot more aggression whenever a mirror universe episode aired. But while Voyager never got its own official mirror universe story, it arguably did something far more compelling, original, and emotionally resonant. It crafted its own internal mirror, not through parallel dimensions, but through powerful character studies, holodeck narratives, time travel arcs, and deep moral quandaries. Living Witness, a Voyager's quiet masterpiece. If one had to pinpoint a single episode that encapsulates Voyager's unique approach to the mirror trope without ever stepping foot in the mirror universe, it would be Season 4's Living Witness. This episode flips the concept of good versus evil in an entirely fresh way, not by showing us a universe of evil counterparts, but by presenting a distorted historical account of the Voyager crew centuries in the future. In this revisionist version of history, the Doctor's backup module is reactivated by an alien society that has painted Captain Janeway and her crew as violent war criminals. The alternate Voyager we see is just as brutal and fascistic as anything from the actual mirror universe, with Janeway executing prisoners and Tuvok leading ruthless security raids. However, what makes Living Witness shine is that the contrast isn't from a parallel timeline. It's from misremembered history, a warped cultural myth that reflects more about the alien society than about the Voyager crew. This is where Voyager steps into its own kind of mirror, one focused not on evil doppelgangers, but on legacy, perception, and the power of truth. The Doctor becomes an ambassador not just for his crew, but for historical accuracy itself. In doing so, Voyager gave fans a philosophical twist on the mirror universe idea without ever resorting to interdimensional travel. The holodeck, Voyager's internal mirror. Another area where Voyager excelled beyond the typical mirror formula was in its use of the holodeck. Rather than just giving us villainous versions of the crew, it used simulated realities to explore darker or alternate versions of its characters. Think of worst-case scenario, where a training program simulates a Maquis mutiny, turning Tuvok into a secret novelist of rebellion fiction. Or Fairhaven, where Janeway plays God in a simulated Irish village, confronting ethical dilemmas around emotional manipulation and power. Perhaps most notably, Flesh and Blood puts the Doctor in a crisis of conscience when he sides with holograms who rebel against their creators. In many ways, the Doctor himself becomes Voyager's own mirror, always questioning the ship's morality, pushing against Starfleet protocols, and forcing characters like Janeway to examine their own biases and authority. The holodeck wasn't just a playground, it was a reflection pool, a space to test the crew's identity and limits. Deadlock, and the power of duality. While Voyager never officially crossed into the mirror universe, it came tantalizingly close in Deadlock, an episode in which a spatial anomaly creates two identical Voyagers occupying the same space. One is attacked and nearly destroyed by the Vidians. The other remains mostly intact. What follows is a devastating story of sacrifice and survival, where one version of Janeway ultimately destroys her own ship to ensure her counterpart's crew survives. In classic mirror universe episodes, we see good versus evil. In Voyager's Deadlock, we see something far more interesting, self versus self. The choices are no less dramatic, but they are grounded in ethical nuance rather than cartoonish villainy. The two Janeways are the same person, facing different circumstances, making different calls. This kind of internal contrast offers more emotional weight than a universe full of evil twins ever could. Equinox, a mirror without needing a universe. Voyager also got a taste of the mirror vibe in its two-part season 5-6 finale and premiere, Equinox. When the crew discovers another Starfleet ship stranded in the Delta Quadrant, the Equinox, they're confronted with a chilling version of what they could have become. Captain Ransom and his crew have abandoned Starfleet ideals to survive, even committing murder by exploiting alien life forms for energy. This wasn't a mirror universe. It was a real possibility, a moral path Voyager could have taken had Janeway made different choices. The Equinox became a cautionary reflection, showing what happens when desperation overrides ethics. The confrontation between Janeway and Ransom wasn't just Starfleet versus Rogue Captain. It was Janeway wrestling with the line she refused to cross. Voyager's emotional mirrors. Ultimately, what Voyager gave fans was more meaningful than a one-off mirror universe episode. It offered emotional mirrors across its entire run. Belana Torres is split into human and Klingon halves in Faces. 7 of 9 struggle between board programming and humanity. The Doctor's search for personhood and respect. Even Janeway's ongoing tension between captain and caretaker. These weren't evil versions of the characters. They were the same characters, seen under pressure, fragmented, tested, and rebuilt. Mirror of the human condition. The mirror universe, while fun, is often just fan service. It's flashy, it's entertaining, but it rarely sticks. Voyager, instead, built a slower, more thoughtful mirror, one grounded in identity, ethics, and survival. Rather than introduce alternate realities, it asked harder questions. What would you sacrifice to survive? Can technology evolve into personhood? What does it mean to lead without losing your soul? So no, Voyager never got its own Mirror Universe episode, but it didn't need one, because time and again, it held up a mirror to itself and to us. And what we saw was something even better.